welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I live in Florida and I am currently a student teacher in a 4th grade classroom, and I am just here to share my journey with you guys. Today is January 28th. It's Tuesday right now. The time is about 8:40 a.m. and yes, I'm in my car and there's a lot of people walking by, but I'm trying to not mind them. But today I am not interning in the classroom because we have to go to a CHAMPS training. CHAMPS is something that many teachers use in my district for like classroom management and like setting expectations during, you know, part of a lesson or part of the day or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I haven't obviously gotten the official training for it. I've just kind of seen it in different classrooms being used. So I'm really excited for this training today. I want to learn, and I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to learn how to run my classroom better and, you know, things like that. So I'm excited for all the information that I'm going to get. So this vlog is going to be about the training specifically, and I'm gonna try to give you guys as much information as I can about it. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and also you can follow me on my Instagram at Classroom Sunshine, same as my YouTube name, and I will talk to you soon. Hey guys, so it is much later. It's actually not even Tuesday anymore, it's Wednesday, and I need to catch you up. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm back. I just wanted to get like the things that we used and things like that so that I can talk to you guys about CHAMPS training. So let me kind of catch you up. So yesterday, like I said, was Tuesday, and we had our first part of CHAMPS training. Then today we had our second part of CHAMPS training, and then we had our seminar class at our college. So CHAMPS was from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. both days. So if you don't know, I talked about it a little bit, I think, but CHAMPS is basically like a classroom management like plan, like kind of strategy that you can use in your classroom. So CHAMPS, each letter in CHAMPS stands for something different. So the way they kind of explained it, hold on, let me look at my PowerPoint slides and notes to try to gather my thoughts, because it was just so much information. The training was amazing. I loved everything about the training. It was very informational, and sorry, it's my dog. It was very informational, very like I felt like I connected with it because I felt like it was very realistic and like I can use it in my own classroom in different ways to use it. So I really did enjoy it. It was just a lot of information for 2 days straight. So I have to just kind of sit back and kind of like gather my thoughts and reflect on everything that I've learned. So basically it started, the training started with like talking about this acronym STOIC. So STOIC. Let me see, maybe I can kind of put it in there possibly. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. You're on my phone, so I can't really see, but STOIC. So S stands for structure your classroom for success. T stands for teach behavioral expectations to students. O is observe and supervise. I is interact positively with students, and C is correct fluently. So like for the structure portion, it was talking about like how you should set up your classroom. So where's your furniture? Do you have certain pathways that students need to take when they're moving around the classroom, whether when they're entering, going to the bathroom, getting a pencil, like a lot of things to think about that I haven't thought about at all. Or like your decorations, are there distractions on the wall? Is it pretty neutral? Like just how is the structure of your classroom overall? Are you high structure or are you low structure? So are you kind of like chill with a lot of procedures, or do you have a procedure in a certain way that you want things for every part of your day? So just things like that to kind of think about and reflect. And then we had another packet that it was like our plan. And so with everything that we learned and talked about, the other packet had like a blank section and you would fill it in. So it like asked questions like for structure. To rate yourself, are you high structure, are you low structure? I am a little bit more on the higher side. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I don't think it's either. I think it's just the way that I am as a teacher, as an educator, the way that I want to be. I feel that I am more on the high structure side. So it like started asking us like How are students going to get materials or supplies throughout the day? Do they get it throughout the day? What is some decor? What is our planned bulletin boards or wall space that we're thinking about? How is our furniture arrangement? Do we want desks? Do we want tables? How are they going to be aligned? So things like that. So I really like that because it really got me thinking into things that I haven't thought about. Like, I just haven't thought that far because I'm not in my own classroom. I'm not in my own space yet. So I personally liked it. So then it started talking about like the teaching part of it. So that's where it really started getting into CHAMPS. We're teaching our expectations. We're teaching our students different procedures. We're teaching our students like different strategies or things that they can do, things like that. Just teaching overall. Teaching, what we're gonna do in a practice fire drill. Teaching perfect versus imperfect. They also said something that I really, really liked. They also said when we're talking about rules or commands or things like that, we shouldn't use the negative version of the rule. So for example, don't run. Instead of putting your rule like with a negative aspect of the don't or no or don't do this, we should rephrase it into things that we want them to do. So instead of a rule being don't run, the rule could say use walking feet. So that way it's not so negative all the time, like don't do this, don't do that, don't say this, or like I just feel like there's many times that everything is very negative. So I like that they said instead of saying what you don't want them to do, say what you do want them to do or what you do expect them. So use walking feet, raise your hand. Instead of saying don't speak while others are speaking, you can say wait your turn to speak or things like that. Just try to avoid using the words no or don't. So that was something I really reflected on too. They also talked about teaching attention signals. So how are you going to get your students' attention throughout the day or when you need to transition or just anything in general? Are you going to use a callback? Are you going to use hand signals? Are you going to use clapping? Just different things like that. So that was a lot of other things for me to think about. Then the actual CHAMPS. So CHAMPS stands for Conversation, Help, Activity, Movement, Participation, and Success. So it's basically an acronym to set clear expectations. Exactly what are you expecting the students to be doing while they're working on a task? So that can be small group, that can be whole group, that can be independent work, that can be silently reading. It could be anything. So for conversation, you can use that as your voice level. Are you at a voice level 0, no talking? Are you at a voice level 1, whisper, 2, normal talk? You can also use it for, like, who are they talking to? Are they talking to their partner? Are they talking to their group? Are they talking to a teacher? So, like, in whole group, for conversation, you wouldn't want to put voice level 0 because although they're not speaking when you're speaking or when another student is speaking, there are points in the discussion where they do need to speak, maybe when you're asking a question. So if you put 0, it kind of gives that student like a sense of confusion. Like, okay, the board says voice level 0, but my teacher is asking me a question, so I have to speak. So they were like, so for that, you can put communication is Q&A, so question answer. So you're spoken, you can speak when you're asked a question. So something like that. For help, how is the student going to ask for help? Are they going to ask somebody else? Are you going to use the 3 before me rule? Are they going to raise their hand? Are they going to use a question symbol? How are they going to ask for help? Activity, what are they doing? What are they working on? Whole group, small group, are they working on a worksheet? Are they working on a project? So what are they working on? Also in activity, they asked us to put the time. So students have very clear expectations. So you're working on your social studies project for 30 minutes or however. Movement, are they moving around the classroom or should they only be seated? Are they rotating? So movement is just kind of, again, are you allowed to move around the classroom or are you supposed to be staying seated at a certain spot? And then the S is for success. How are you going to be successful? What is the outcome that you're looking for as a teacher? So it can be anything as simple as like, are you going to have brain sweat? Or are you going to be able to answer these questions correctly? Or is the discussion or conversation going to be an effective discussion? I'm sorry, that's my dog growling in the background. Or it can be as simple as, you will be able to understand the standard or, and then actually say the standard. So anything like that. So there's different ways, and they went into like how to display CHAMPS, whether it's just writing it on the board, so CHAMPS, and then your expectation XH1, or if there's like clip charts to use for that. So you clip what you expect for C, what you expect for H, things like that. Or you're gonna use pictures. So basically, overall, they were like, these are tools that you can use, but you don't have to use it this way. You need to change it up in a way that works for you, that fits your teaching style, that fits your classrooms, that fits your students' needs, things like that. So then it continued on with the acronym STOIC. So the O is observe. So you're observing your students, how you should observe your students, giving that feedback. I's interact positively. So again, many interactions with teachers and students you may not notice are usually negative. Don't do this, stop doing that, face forward, no talking, things like that, or you're not paying attention, focus. It's just a lot of times it's negative without us noticing. So they were saying, like, how are ways to interact positively? Not every conversation in the classroom has to be about academics. It can be as simple as, I love your shirt, where'd you get it? Or you did something new with your hair, or you got new shoes. What'd you do over the weekend? How was your sports going? How's your family doing? Just things that don't necessarily need to be about academics. And or also, if you do need to correct a behavior, try to do it positively instead of negatively. So again, instead of saying stop doing this, say, you can kind of praise these students around them and just say, thank you. Let's just use the name Susan. I don't know Susan. Thank you, Susan, for, putting your book away so quietly and getting in line quickly. Something like that, instead of calling out, you're not putting your book away, you're not getting in line. So just more positive interactions versus negative. I'm definitely shortening all of this training for the purpose of this. If you guys want more information, you can definitely message me and I can kind of share a little bit more of what I learned, my perspective about it. Or, I can send you different places you can find more research on. But, so I just wanted to put that in there. And then the last part of it is C, so correct fluently. So how should you correct your students when you need to? Do you use verbal corrections? Do you use proximity? Do you use just different ways to correct? So then they also kind of gave us like a menu of like teacher responses. So many times, or not many times, but there are times where teachers jump to giving a referral right away, when that's not necessarily always the answer. Like there's kind of a buildup of what's the word I'm looking for? Like corrections, I guess, versus going straight to a referral all the time. So first you might want to start with proximity. Then you might want to do like a nonverbal signal. So whether it's like a stare or like a wink, or using visuals, like a visual card, like, hey, you need to do this or whatever. Then you might want to talk, refer back to expectations. So instead of saying like, you need to stop, you're not doing this or whatever, you could say like, this is my expectation. Are you following the expectation that you need to right now? Or what do you need to change in order to follow the expectations that we have in place, or the rule or whatever? Then maybe you might just need to have a little conversation with the student or contact parent or whatever. But basically referral should be last. It shouldn't be your jump to. Of course, there is things case by case. There are certain situations that a referral is what you need to do. So it could be a fight, or a student using profanity to another student, or threatening, or whatever. But not every situation. Maybe the student's just doesn't stop talking. I personally don't see that needs to be a referral. So there's just different ways to get to it. Each teacher is their own. I'm not saying this is the right or wrong way. This is just, again, my opinion, my takeaway from the training. So then they just told us like where we can get more resources from. And that was pretty much it. Then they also gave us a few other things. So they gave us like a conference form. So this is a very primary level, and then this is more of an intermediate level of like a conference form. So it just kind of is a way for the student to kind of reflect on their action and then talk about it with the teacher. So it asks things like, what behavior stopped your learning? What did you want? What will you do next time? Or are you ready to return to class? And then the student can have that conversation with the teacher, or they can just reflect on themselves and give it to the teacher and, kind of go from there. I'm just kind of looking through like all of the resources that they gave us. They also gave us this acronym decoder. So it's basically like all the different acronyms that are used in education in general. So like AP, Advanced Placement, AVID, Advancement via Individual Determination, EBD, Emotional Behavioral Disability, ELL, English Language Learner, like just different acronyms that are used all throughout education. So that was really nice because I don't know many acronyms. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything kind of in a nutshell of CHAMPS that we learned today. And like I said, the training also involved a lot of like reflecting and kind of thinking ahead of what we want our classroom to look like, or what, you know, we want to do as an educator. And it was just a really good training. Like if it's ever offered anywhere where you teach or where you're going to teach, I highly recommend taking the training. I definitely learned a lot, and it definitely gave me a different perspective into a lot of things that, again, I just hadn't thought about, or I just am not there yet. So I really liked it. If you have any further questions or comments or ideas, or if you have taken this training and you want to share anything, please leave it in the comments down below or message me on Instagram. I love feedback and I would greatly appreciate that. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of how my training went, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you want to continue following me on my journey. I am definitely loving sharing every bit of it. I'm loving every bit of internship, and I just can't wait to have my own classroom. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.